Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den of Legacy Internet Radio. We spent about 6 minutes listening to that clip. And first of all, shout out to my brother Ivan. My brother Ivan just called me during the break. And this is why I love this brother, because he was listening and he heard that. And he like, you all right? Because we about to come down there. We about to come down there. And that's how real that clip was. When he was hearing it, he tuned in and thought it was going down here at Legacy Internet Radio. That clip is disturbing. I wanted to play it for a reason. It's definitely disturbing, but we're gonna have a discussion about what we heard and some other stuff. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. Live from the Dan Legacy Internet Radio. If you heard something that made you want to call us up here at the studio, if you want to be a part of this discussion, phone number is 804-402-2893 if you want to be part of the discussion. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. I have effectively killed the mood in the room, but this is what we do here. We don't have steps. So, Joe, you up first. We got a lot to react to, and so you're up first. You can set it up any way you want to. What you got, big bro?
I'm normally not a speechless person, and I normally try to get a benefit of the doubt to law enforcement because I know the job that they do is a very tough job. But that clip that I just watched, and I need you to forward that to me on my Facebook page if you don't mind. I think that was some, can I say what I'm about to say? That was some bullshit. I mean, real talk, folks, you all have to see the clip to understand what's going on. First of all, we have got to make sure we know our rights. And then when we know our rights, we have to effectively be able to articulate those rights that we have. This was a clear-cut case for me of abuse of authority. This was a clear-cut case of a police officer who got his feathers ruffled because somebody did know a little bit and they made a phone call to make sure that they had clarity on the situation. The officer tells the young lady, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. And then when she just, because you asked me for my name, she gave him my name. I mean, I don't have to, I gave you my name. You don't like the answer that I gave you? Tough shit. But the only thing I can sit there and say once again, if I have a daughter I'm about to be a grandfather, I probably would have busted this dude in the head and took every charge that I got. There it was right there. Because right now, oh, man, go. That's it, man.
Big Rope, you heard the clip, you saw the video. What's your thoughts, man?
I mean, I guess the first thing is, I don't understand why he would even handcuff her. Number two, his aggressive. It was just, he had an aggressive tone from jump. So I didn't understand why she was being arrested. As far as the name situation, I mean, there are a lot of other ways he could have handled this. I'm a little disturbed by it because it's just like, yeah, she kind of knew what was up. Two, what, the dude was in a hurry. I mean, the cop couldn't wait for her to find out if it was cool to give her full government name. I mean, it was rushed. It was everything. The one cop was already bad, but the other two cops sat there and just did nothing. And I can't believe that all of them felt the same way. Just because he might have been a higher ranking officer, that doesn't mean you can't step up and be like, yo, dude, this is kind of foul. You need to stop this. Remember, at the very least, remember, you have a body camera on you. You're not doing this properly, regardless of what rank. But it's just, I don't see the purpose of the arrest. And then to put her on the ground and to force her in the car, and then for the dude to be like, are you okay, to the cop? So you asking the other cop, are you okay? Come on, man. I mean, what you need to be worried about is the pregnant woman y'all just threw on the ground and then forcefully lifted up. and then forcefully put in the car. I mean, she could have had a miscarriage right there. Where's are you okay for her? Where's the safety for her? So this is all sorts of wrong. And, it's stuff like this that causes stuff in Baltimore to happen and stuff in Missouri to happen and stuff like that. Because as far as I can tell from the clip, this is fairly unwarranted and real disrespectful. And I hope she is fine. I hope the baby is fine. And I hope she sues the pants off of wherever jurisdiction it was.
It's funny that you take those positions because it's not rare. It's not normal that you and I and Big Bro Joe all agree. And tonight we are all pretty much on the same page with pretty much everything we talked about. And I'll kind of take it a step further. There was another clip, and I'm going to come back to this in a minute. But there was another clip of a brother, and this one was right here in Richmond, Virginia, that it was a brother sitting in a car in a hotel parking lot, a hotel that he had a room in, and he was just sitting in the car. It's nighttime. He's sitting in the car. He's eating oatmeal. Police roll up on him. They're like, yo, what you doing? He was like, minding my business. He was like, let me get your ID. He was like, no. Let me get your ID. No. Why won't you give me ID? Because I haven't done anything wrong. And you have no reason to see my ID. Well, you mind stepping out the car? No. I'm not stepping out the car. I ain't do nothing wrong. Leave me alone. And the video clip is about 9 minutes long, and I'm paraphrasing a lot of stuff that's in it. But the short version is he does pull out his ID. He cracks the window just a little bit. He puts his ID on the glass so they can see it. He puts his concealed weapons ID on the glass so they can see it, but he will not give it to him, and he will not get out of the car. You got any weapons in the car? Plenty. I got weapons in the car. He was being a real asshole to the cops, probably a little bit more than I would have been, but at the same time, the spirit of how he was acting was, I've done nothing wrong, leave me alone. You're not going to just run up on me and say, let me see your papers, which is essentially what they were doing. Which brings me back to this woman. You've got an officer, a trained officer, who cannot control a pregnant female any more than grabbing her and throwing her to the ground because he's annoyed that she will not give him more than her first name. Going back to the video for the guy in Virginia, here in Richmond, the police officers were so upset that the guy wouldn't get out and give his driver's license that he literally banged on the car window for 4 minutes. I watched the video. 4 minutes. He's doing this. As annoying as it is for me to be doing this to you right now in the 15 seconds that I'm doing it, imagine being in your car and having a police officer doing that to you for 4 minutes. And so I put these two stories together, one that you've seen or heard, I should say, and one that I just paraphrased for you to show you that a lot of these cops out here is abusing their power. And the unfortunate reality is they're making it bad for everybody, or for all the police officers. I get so sick and tired of people making it seem like we in our community, minority communities, is that what they want to call us? We know we're the majority, but let's just play the American word for now. The minority community, y'all think that everything is so bad and y'all so scared of us and all that type shit. But the truth of the matter is, if that's how y'all gonna feel about us, then that's how we gonna feel about y'all. I got one more clip that I want y'all to hear, and then we're gonna pick up and we're gonna take a little bit more of this conversation in another direction. This one's from the Oprah Winfrey Show back in the 80s. And just take a listen to where this conversation goes. You'll understand why I'm playing it and why I'm playing it right now. Take a listen.
I think I'm prejudiced.
You say what? Hello.
Hi, Oprah.
Hi.
What I'm calling about to say is I don't think I'm prejudiced, but if I would get on a bus and this gentleman, the first gentleman with the hair, would sit next to me, the way he's dressed, you,
Mr. King.
I would grab my purse and probably move to another seat. It's because of his looks. It's scary.
That's because it's out of her culture.
Well, that's interesting. Clarify, madam, what you're saying. What does the word scary mean?
Oh, gee, I don't know.
Well, now would be a very good time to figure it out. What does the word scary mean? That is my question.
Well, you would frighten me.
I understand
in
that.
general.
What does the word scary mean? Or, same question, why would I frighten you? I haven't been in a fight since I was in eighth grade.
Well, you're probably not normally dressed up in a suit. You just look like you're a tough guy.
If she went to Jamaica, she'd be frightened all the time.
Well, madam, let me then answer the question.
So what is it? Is it because of the way he's dressed, the color of his skin, or his hair? Is it his hair?
Yes, yes. And I'm sure he's not always dressed in a suit. You know, he'll
So does that mean you're frightened of all men who are not dressed in suits?
No, no.
Okay.
It's just the garb, I think, that would scare me.
Well, you know, this is interesting, madam. Let me then advance this point. I speak of the old racism, which was pre-Dr. Dr. Martin Luther King. I then speak of the new racism. One of the things you have to understand about racists or about yourself is racists are inherently intellectual cowards. They won't come out and say, I hate niggers because I hate niggers. Story over. What they will do is take pseudo-facts. They will take facts that are not true and use that as the intellectual pyramid to come to a conclusion that is inaccurate. If you actually want to talk about the statistics, if you are afraid of me on that bus, I don't ride on buses, because you think I'm going to murder you, there is no statistical basis for that. You are more likely to be murdered by your husband, by your son, by your brother. If you are afraid of me sitting next to you on that bus that I don't ride on, because you are afraid that I'm going to rape you, statistically, your boyfriend, your husband, is more probably going to be the rapist. So I'm saying you are the manifestation of the new racism, and you have used the same pseudo-intellectual statistics to construct a racist position.
Thank you, caller. I'm sure you didn't know you did all that with one phone call.
You know, Steppin Marcus J. First time in a while we had our sister Oprah Winfrey join us here on Legacy Internet Radio. She's a fan of the show and she listens to us when she can. At this time, of course, she's been sitting here for a minute, anxiously awaiting her opportunity to grab the mic and let everybody know why she, in fact, is a grown woman, which she'll tell us more about later on in the show. But she's my big sis and co-host of Ain't No Steppin Marcus J. We got sitting in the studio with us, S.Y. Butler. What's up, baby?
Hello, nurse. Lord, what's going on up in here, y'all?
Hello, nurse. What the hell?
What the hell?
What the hell? It's a lot to react to since you walked in.
into a fire.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to react to since you walked into the building. So, anything that you want to? I mean, I know you heard a lot. I don't know if there's anything in particular you want to get in on. If you want to speak generally,
Listen, I really have. I heard a lot. You know, I caught the tail end of the police officer abusing some power and throwing a woman to the ground. Lord, I hope he gets everything and then a bag of chips coming for him for being such an asshole.
that some bitch don't deserve no chips.
Oh, trust me, these ain't real chips.
Oh, okay.
And then this clip you just played, there's really nothing else to say.
Yeah.
He dropped the mic on her.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You know, I was talking to a good friend of mine today. Shout out to LFJ if she's listening. We work together. We're good friends at work. And she asked me today, just today, she said, what's the thing? Like, you've been doing radio for a while. What's the thing? Like, do you have a mission? Like, why are you doing radio? And Rube, I want you to comment on this one next. You know, what I told her was, the name of the show is Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. And one thing that we don't want to do ever is half step. And we are fearless here at Legacy Internet Radio. And one of the things that we don't want to ever do, Ruben, I think we were clear on this when we founded Legacy Internet Radios. We ain't bullshit, man. We're going to talk about the stuff that you can't talk about at work. You can't talk about it at work, you come here and talk about it. Yep. So we're going to talk about racism. We're going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about sexuality and all that kind of stuff. We might say some bad words, but we're going to always be respectful. And so when I hear that last clip there, that woman was speaking in code. It's how you look. It's the hair. You look scary. You probably don't wear a suit all the time. You only see me on this television show. You don't know me, and you assume that I don't wear a suit. Cut the bullshit and just say you don't like black people. I would respect you so much more. Mm-hmm. I would respect you so much more. Like the code words. that they oftentimes try to use. And when I say they, I'm not speaking to you white folk, because black people, y'all guilty of it as well. Cut the bullshit. You cannot make progress anywhere unless you have dialogue. If you're sitting on your hands with your mouth closed, you are not going to solve no problems.
You know what got me on that clip is how she couldn't explain what she meant by scary.
Yes.
He actually had to open her head for her and tell her, stop being a coward, pretty much. You know what you want to say in your head, so let me get this out for you. Why do I have to feed to you? Are you that afraid over the phone? You're that afraid to just go ahead and be the racist you are? How could you possibly be? The phone, text messaging, all these things are so easy for you to say and do what you want to do with. And she was so afraid that she couldn't say, yeah, I'm a racist. All because, just like we said, it's his hair. Forget that you're a black man or those things in your hair and you look really creepy. You look scary to me. I would grab my purse and not sit on the bus. Don't get your ass on the bus.
And he don't even ride the bus.
He don't even ride the bus.
He probably has a nice car.
Yeah, top her car.
Yeah,
Like,
it
oh
just,
my God.
Rube, what's your thoughts, man? You and I decided that we wasn't gonna play. We just ain't playing. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna come in here. We're gonna act silly some nights. But then when we being serious, we gonna be serious. And one thing that we not playing with is this type stuff. What's your thoughts, brother?
A long time ago, it's an interesting story actually. I was dating a Caucasian woman, and some members of her family were not fond of African Americans, not fond of black people, and I met them, and the female spoke to me and was nice to my face, whatever. The male didn't speak, didn't bat an eye, didn't do nothing. I wasn't even there. In his world, I wasn't even there. But I respected that dude more because, you know what? It won't no BS with him.
Yep,
He's like, yo, he didn't say I don't like you because you were black. His actions was like, I don't like you because you black, and I don't feel like I need to speak to you. And you know what? Everybody has their choices on what they want to do. If you want to be racist, that's cool. If you want to love everybody, that's cool. You do what you do. But when it's all said and done, you need to be true to yourself. You don't need to fake the funk for me or anybody else. Because when it's all said and done, it's all about you. And, that gentleman has such passed away. But, the interesting part about it, because my friends were like, so what do you think? I was like, what do you mean what I thought? I mean, dude didn't speak to me. But you know what? I had respect for him because he didn't. Because that means he was just like, I don't need to change my differences for him when I don't like him because of his color. I can deal with that, and I'm fine with that. But, everybody else is just like, we're here, and, we do what we do. This is a platform for everybody to speak their mind in a way in which does not, it may piss you off sometime, but it's, it gives everybody a voice. And the problem is, some people feel like they don't have a voice, and that's where everything comes in line. Here, everybody has a voice. Everybody's got a job, everybody has a life, but in here, we get to speak our voice. And that's one of the things I love about Legacy in that radio. Everybody has a voice, regardless if you hear once or you hear 100 times. Whether you own a show or you a guest, you have a voice. And the only way, as Marcus said earlier, the only way things will change is if you speak your voice. That lady on the phone with Oprah, first of all, my question is, why'd you even call? If you won't go sit there and be like, yo, I don't like this dude because he black, then why'd you even call? You could have just not called and stayed at home and stayed in your own little world. Hopefully that helped that person, but it probably didn't. She probably just got mad about it. But it's just one of those things, man.
It's a lot of viral videos going on right now, Joe, where we're seeing the venom of people, and we're not victims. I'm not going to sit here and make us out to be victims, but I think when we don't talk about the reality of how we are strong people, you have a lot of people in our community that don't exercise their strength, and you have a lot of people on the outside of our community that want to throw stones or exercise their strength against us. One example that I've seen in just the 2 viral videos that I've seen this week, one is a viral video of a little kid who can't be more than 5 or 6 years old, who is found on a schoolyard on a playground, and the guy that's filming it, the little boy is calling him the N-word right to his face. Like literally right to his face. You're a dirty N-word, what the little boy keeps saying to him. And the guy, he's not laughing at him. He's showing how sad this is. Mm-hmm. There's another viral video that's going on right now where it's at Black Bike Week, where a woman is calling the brother a dirty, nasty N-word. And she's cussing him out, and he's saying, well, why am I that? Because you are, and whatnot. And he's saying, well, it means ignorant. Isn't that what, what are you right now? She spit in his face. He slapped the fire out of her. Absolute slapped the fire out of her. And then the other video that I'm seeing, that's 2. And the third one I'll speak of before I make my point is a video of an altercation in Mississippi where two couples, a black woman and her daughter and a white man and his lady, are trying to get in. They're both big ass SUVs, and the doors are stuck, so neither one could get in because the doors are so tight. And the video picks up with the white dude calling this woman an N-word right to her face. And these are viral videos. And so I'm tripping because I'm like, I know this stuff has always gone on. So part of me ain't really tripping off of it. But then the other part of it is we need to be aware and we need to be mindful of the perception that we have in this country. Because one of the things that last white guy said was, that's what y'all call yourselves, right? So for all these people, black people who are walking around saying we taking the power back out of the word and all this kind of stuff, no. You want to have power, you need to band together. You want to have power, you need to be economic. You want to have power, you need to help one another. Because the truth of the matter is, you have enemies that ain't feeling you, man. And to be divided is not the way you conquer your enemies. It's just really, really, really that simple. Ain't no has to tell Mark. All right, one thing I want to get to before we get out of this segment is I'm getting this article today from
the Huffington Post.
The United States police have shot dead 385 people in 5 months. This is what the report says. 385 people. The United States police departments just across the country. The death rate is more than twice that tallied by the federal government over the past decade, a count that officials concede obviously is incomplete. The analysis is based on data the Washington Post is compiling on every fatal shooting by police in 2015, as well as every officer beyond. And we're getting a call right now, so we're going to go ahead and take this call, and then we'll finish that thought that I had here just a moment ago. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Caller. You on the live line with us? You with us? Caller, you there? Okay, we lost the caller. Call us back. The analysis is based on data that is being compiled for every fatal shooting by police in 2015, as well as every officer killed by gunfire in the line of duty. So let's get down to some of the notes, some of the numbers. The Post analysis showed that about half the victims were white and half were minority. Among unarmed victims, 2/3 were black and Hispanic. Based on census numbers for the areas where the killings took place, blacks were killed at 3 times the rate of whites or other minorities. The victims range in age from 16 to 83, and more than 80% were armed with potentially lethal objects, mostly guns. 92 victims, were identified as mentally ill. And police are authorized to use deadly force when they fear for their lives. 3 of the 385 fatal shootings have resulted in officers being charged with the crime. So, Joe, a lot of numbers to respond to. You're up first. What you got?
Well, can I be honest with you? I'm still fuming over what we just talked about, and I was, on social media with a whole lot of people. So I'm gonna have to defer for a hot second. Yo, that's why.
What you calling me for?
Help a brother out. Big room. Help. Yo, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm just so heated right now.
It's enough to make you mad.
Ooh,
it is.
I had to undo my collar, man. I don't take my bow tie off for nobody.
Y'all should have seen him in here getting undressed in front of me.
You know what? You
I'm
trying to
just
make?
saying.
Oh my goodness.
LB help.
That's why you heard the numbers. Half of them were white. But when you look at the unarmed victims, 2/3 of the unarmed victims were black and Hispanic, and 93 of them were mentally ill. 80% had weapons. I mean, there's a lot of numbers to respond to. You know, you can choose to respond to some of those numbers, or you can offer your own opinion.
You know, like I was saying earlier, and like you said earlier, there's a abuse of power. The one that really got me was they have the right to use force or deadly force when they feel that their lives are in danger or that they're in danger. They do this every time they want to do something. Every encounter they have, they feel like they're in danger. Every encounter they have, it seems like they're trying to kill somebody if they don't kill them. So I'm just, you know, I'm just a little wigged out by those numbers. You know, we don't have to do anything. We just have to be black. You know, we don't have to be anything. We just have to be a minority. It just doesn't matter.
We've been doing this for how long?
All my life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, Marcus, give me that last number you said again. It was one number you said.
Half of them were black.
Half.
And no, excuse me. Half of them were white. The other half were a minority. 2/3 were unarmed black people.
That's what I wanted to hear. Well, I got 2 arms, so I'm never unarmed, and I understood what you were saying. Hey, you can't fight the system, right? Right, Rube? You can't fight the system. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what they want you to believe.
Why not?
That was it. Well, it was an oxymoron question. It was a, please somebody have some heart and say it. Yeah, but you're right. We can fight the system. We can't. Yeah. We have to fight the system. I think that this is such. It is such a sadness that we still
because
are pigeonholed into.
We're not acting like a people.
We're crabs in a barrel. Well,
we're acting like
I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna say the majority, a lot of us are still have that crab in the barrel mentality. We would rather sit there and cowtail and let them good folk, or them good white folk, think that they still running us. Because, like you said, I mean, I just go back and you know what played in my mind while I watched that clip, LB. What played in my mind was 12 Years a Slave, and I don't know if any of you all have seen that movie. You've never seen that? Yo, big dog, you need to watch that one. But don't do like I did and drink no corn liquor while you watching it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you what happens. Watch 12 Years. Did you see the movie?
Yes.
You remember when the master's wife gave him his medallion so he could walk freely through the area? When she sent him to the store? And pretty much when she sent him like 15 miles to go pick up some parchment paper and some stuff like that. And he was walking through, and when he's walking through, he's
seeing them attack another guy.
Yeah, they about to hang some other people, and they was like, "Show me your papers." And you know, Marcus J hit the key on the head, and it just flashed me back because I'm like, "Damn,
that's the only way he was gonna get by.
If you show me your papers."
Yep. Or else he would have been
like,
right
really?
there with the other guy.
How old are we? How long do we still continue to have to put up with that nonsense? Listen, I'm 6'4", 290, and I'm gonna tell you, I couldn't have lived there. Yeah, you right, son. Week. I must say it every darn time I'm
waiting for him to lose weight.
Wow, I'm sexy as I am. See, that's what's wrong. See, you got them people's mentality right
Who
there.
Who is them people?
Because I'm sexy and I know it.
I'm just saying that because you got to keep telling us.
I work on that base. Ain't no trouble.
Oh.
You all about that base. Sorry. No trouble.
But think about it. I mean, if you put it in conjunction about what we're thinking about and you wrap it all up and put a pretty bow on it, it's the same bull that's been going on, and we still have not come up with the conclusion. And you know what makes it even worse? You made a statement, Big Rube made a statement that, you know what, the officer was there and he was wrong, but the other blue people stood there and allowed it to continue to go. And how you gonna be black and blue? Ooh, how you gonna be black and blue?
You heard the dude ask the other cop, "You all right?"
You all right? Seriously?
You all right? We're not making this up. It was in the video, and the part that's why you walked in when we was playing it after they arrested the woman for not giving her name, and they tackled the pregnant woman to the ground, and put her in the police car while she was there to pick up her child because somebody else said that she had done something and there was no crime done. There was an issue with them parking, basically. And after they wrestled the 8 months pregnant woman to the ground and threw her in the back of the police car, one officer said to the other officer, "You all right?"
You all right?
"Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good."
Oh, okay. All right. Just checking on you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
You won't be
freaking
for
kidding
long,
me?
sucker.
Yeah. How about
You
that?
all right?
You
But I'm gonna
won't
tell
be
you, you
for
know
long.
what? You know what? Right then, and I'm not condoning violence. I'm not saying that I'm condoning violence. But as a black man sitting there watching that one, I guess that they would have probably shot me
All right.
For trying to
because
help
I'm
her.
that turn on that one.
Here's what I want to do, because we talk a whole lot about the problems. What's the solutions? Let's go around the room and let's try to talk about how we can do something, us in our communities. What can we do? Because oftentimes we talk about what the situations are, what the problems are, and we get mad. One thing that our brother K-Dub always says is, we're going to have this problem again because we don't fix nothing. All we do is talk. And so, and one of my radio mentors, he don't know it, but I'll tell him every time I'm on the air, Brother Joe Madison always asks the simple question, what are you going to do about it? So let's go around the room. Let's talk about it. Let's try to see if we can figure this out. Take another 5 or 10 minutes in this segment before we move on. A big group's going to lead us in a round table here on Legacy Internet Radio. Ain't no Steppin Marcus J. Call us up. Caller, you were calling us from the 917. So we had somebody in New York listening, and that call dropped. So if you're still listening to us, call us at 804-402-2893. We want to take your call. We were trying to take your call, but for some reason it dropped. So if you're still listening, call us back, 804-402-2893. Big Bro Joe, we're going to talk about solutions and what is it that we can do to fix some of these issues that we have, our relationship with the police, or just the community issues that we have. Joe, you up first. What you got, man?
Well, it's education. Like I said, I'm sitting here on social media. One of my partners here in VA, she was listening because she said she was hot. It's Ashley. She was sitting here and she was like, "Yo, you're heated. You can't even get your words together." But and you know what? I am heated because I'm tired. You get tired of it. But what is the solution? I guess the solution is you can't get mad. You have to turn that anger into a positivity and figure out what you have to do. We have to be the intelligent people that we are. We have to articulate. We have to use the statuses that we have. And we have to put pressure on the people, the right people. Like I said, I made the comment earlier that it was, and if you see the video, look, go out there and look on the Legacy Internet Radio website, and you can see the video itself, and you can hear that last 30 seconds of what he's asking, was he okay? And it was a black man. And I have to go back to that. It was a black and blue man sitting there asking him, was he all right? And he had been there the whole time. So if you don't recognize, or if you're not man enough to stand up, and yeah, I said, if you're not man enough to stand up for what is right, why do you wear that badge? If it's wrong, it's wrong.
No matter who's doing it.
No matter who's doing it. So, I mean, what we have to do is make sure we are able to articulate. What she did was not wrong. She was able to articulate the fact that, no, I don't have to give you my ID. And then, you know what? The officer set himself up, because y'all might not have picked it up. He was stupid enough to sit there and say, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, which means he gave a time frame before he reacted. In less than a minute after she referred to the fact that she was not going to give him her name for the 3rd time, he said, "Ma'am, that's it," and he went to put his hands on her. He did not sit there and live out his contract with that person. Technically, that was a verbal contract that officer gave, and if any lawyer, any smart attorney would tear his behind up, and the police department that he's representing, because they stupid. But once again, and I know I'm ranting right now, but we need to make sure that we are using every smart way of doing things. We have to.
Big Ro, what's your thoughts, man?
Every time I see or hear about stuff like this, I always think about what we can do. And Big Bro Joe is right. We got to be intelligent. We just can't. I'm not saying we got to be like, yes, massa, no, massa. But we got to be like, yes, no. I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, it's fine to answer questions normally. You know, what happens is that sometimes we see a member of the police department, and we automatically go into defense mode. You know, why are we automatically going into defense mode? We shouldn't, you know, and especially if you didn't do anything wrong. And I think that's the first thing we need to realize, that we didn't do anything wrong. Now, if you did something wrong, that's on you. But if you didn't do anything wrong, there is no reason for you to go into defense mode. Because when you go into defense mode, please go into defense mode, and pretty much it's not going to end well. Like Marcus was telling the story about the gentleman in Richmond who got harassed by the police department. You know, I ain't saying he was wrong. However, he probably could have came off with less of an attitude, and he might have been okay. You know, and what happens is, unfortunately, you can't control the police and you can't control their temperament. However, what you can control is your temperament. If you ain't doing anything wrong, you ain't doing anything wrong. But what happens is we go into defense mode. Oh, well, you think I did something wrong because I'm black? Just be calm, answer the questions, let them mess up.
Can't say that I can agree with you.
I mean, I understand why you can't agree with me.
I can't agree with that, but
I mean, but you asked the question, and you know, I'm not saying.
But it's your Miranda right to remain silent.
It is very much your Miranda right to remain silent, which they never gave her Miranda rights.
They never did that before they detained her and put her in handcuffs.
Yeah, they didn't do that either.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, we're so quick to automatically go into defense mode, you know, and if you ain't do nothing wrong, you shouldn't be, and that's what I'm saying.
That's why. What's your thoughts on solutions?
You know,
and if the noise you guys are hearing, it's like pouring down rain right now here in the RVA area. Let's not even acknowledge it. We're gonna move on. That's
and
why.
Just for the record, y'all, I'm afraid of lightning. I'm not leaving this building if it's still happening.
Your ass gonna be here by yourself.
So, so you know, what can we do? I agree with a little bit of everything that we're all saying. We have to educate ourselves. You know, we do need to stay calm, but we need to educate ourselves, number one. We need to come together like every other group that comes together as a whole, because that's the only way that we can fight and get anything done. Yeah, we need to go to the right people, but we need to go as a whole, y'all. We don't need to sit here and, you know, sit at the table and bitch and moan and gripe with each other, because that's not doing anything. We'll have something else the next day because nobody's moving and nobody's doing anything. So we can't do anything until we, one, educate ourselves, and until we, one, secondly, come together as a people and stand up for what's right.
And you know, have Steppin, Marcus J live from the Dan Legacy Internet Radio. 100% agree. Not really much that I can add. I mean, ultimately, you know how I feel about this. I think ultimately we spend too much time backstabbing, backbiting, and not supporting one another. You know, we spend too much time hating on each other and wanting what each other has, and not looking at Big Bro Joe and saying he has on a night suit. We would still, you know, instead we would say, why he got on that nice suit, or why he got on that suit, you know what I mean? Why can't we just support him? Things like that. I think oftentimes we get so caught up in, you know, jealousy of one another that we can't, you know, support one another, not realizing that if you push me, I'm going to pull you. You know what I mean? Each one teach one, and all the little corny cliches that are out there. And so we just need to be mindful of it. Is that going to help this sister who got beat up by the cop? Probably not. Is that going to help that young brother who got harassed by the cop? Probably not. But generationally, with education, with banding together, we can have a different economic situation set up so that we can be a part of the table determining who is going to be these police officers, so we can get people in these departments that understand what exactly we need and what our needs are in our communities, that people look like us who are policing our areas and things of that sort. So it's a lot that we can do. And I think ultimately we need to be part of the solution. I know some folks think that voting and things of that sort is a waste of time, and I disagree with that. I think that we need to, certainly, maybe on a national level, you got less control, but certainly on a local level, when you've got less than 10% voting in certain jurisdictions, I mean, that's outrageous when you are going to be the one that's most affected by who is going to be the sheriff. If you're not voting for someone who could potentially be a spokesperson for your issues, and then you don't have any voice, then you don't get to complain.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's a lot that we can do, and there's a lot that we can kind of react to, and we're going to continue to do that here on Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J, as well as Legacy Internet Radio. Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. Going to take a break. When we come back, our brother Big Rube is going to lead us in a round table. That's right. I'm going to turn the mic over to him and let him lead it. That's why Big Bro Joe and the leader of the round table, Big Rube. Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. Word from our sponsor. And we're going to start kissing folks. Be back in a minute.